right, happy Friday, everybody. I am really excited to yoga with you at my house. This is my second time doing the live Zoom, and I find that it really is more fun than I expected to see everybody across everything, time zones and all the stuff, and wherever we all are. So it feels really good and nice to me, and I'm really excited. But always do what you want to do, move however you want to do. Most definitely the shapes are kind of secondary to how do you feel. That's really the important thing of what we're doing, of our yoga. So if you need props, if you love props, go for it. I'm going to go rogue, and I think that we will begin probably as we are. Everybody grab a seat, be fairly comfortable, and we'll go ahead and start moving. This will kind of help us drop in. So start to close your eyes if you can. Just rotate your torso around one knee and then the other. Your hands will rest gently on the thighs. And we're moving pretty slow as the facial muscles start to soften. The neck and head might also take some movements, those circles. Go for at least 3 more big full circles of your spine. And if your brain is still thinking right now, then start to think of the breath, the in and out. The next time that your torso comes down over your ankles, pause just for a moment and then begin to rotate in the opposite direction. Slowly waking up. You can be exaggerated as you love, but you're probably moving slower than we originally think. So just easing into the spine, into the hips. Let's take another full breath, circulating. We're releasing some distractions of the frontal brain, thought forms, just drift away. Exhale and find your seat, eventually rolling back around, come up to seated. You can flicker your eyes open, roll your shoulders back and down. We have this kind of ha-ha moment happening. Take an inhale and reach your arms right up and overhead. You might even gaze up. You can point or press your palms if you choose. And then exhale, begin to fold. If it's good for your knees, then you'll roll over your knees. But start to find tabletop on your mat. You'll face whatever is the front for you, and let your wrists be underneath your shoulders here. Take an exhale breath and start to curl your chin under. When you round your spine, you'll press your mat away. And as you breathe in, you'll let the belly drop down. Your chin will lift just a little. Breathe out, you're rounding. It's that nice big Halloween cap. And lowering, it's that cow shape pose, collarbones broadening. So take a few breaths moving. Now that you know where you're going, you can gaze downwards, right in the front of your mat, or you can even close your eyes. Any free movement is allowed. Maybe one hip comes over to the heel and then circles around. If you like those shapes, then you go back the other way. The yoga in finding what feels good, what works in your space. It's different all the time. 2 more breaths here in this tabletop. You're moving however you love. Let your neck start to feel relaxed, and know that you can close your eyes through most of this. I'll do my best to guide you so that you don't really have to turn your head a whole lot. You can just round the spine, tuck the chin in one more time, really press the hands away, and then exhale, find that tabletop, your neutral spine. Let the knees come wider and find child's pose. Start to relax your forehead down. This is the nicest, softest child's pose that you can think of. So the shoulders feel really soft. the jaw, the tongue feels releasing. If you want to roll your forehead from side to side, that will sometimes free the neck and feel good. If you do want just a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can inhale and lift up onto the tippy fingers. As you lift the forearms and engage just a little here, you'll feel the stretch right underneath the armpits, only if you want it. There is no hierarchy, right? Whatever you love. Take an inhale, start to gaze forward towards your hands. Take an exhale, let's lift up onto hands and knees. You'll bring your forearms down. It will be like a number 11. We want to have a lot of space between the fingers. And start to press through one leg, press through the other, and just lower yourself onto your belly. Let it be really soft. You'll gaze forward, maybe over the edge of the mat, almost like you're pulling your chest through the arms. This should feel nice. If it doesn't, maybe widen the feet a little bit. This can help. Just moving slow as let's turn your head over to the left, over the left shoulder. Exhale as your chin drops down to the chest. Turn your head over to the right shoulder. Chin lowers down, over to the other side, left shoulder. Down and over the right shoulder. Exhale, back through center. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale here, and just bring your hands right underneath where your forehead will go, like hands as a pillow. And rest your forehead on the mat. You can bend the knees if it feels good and wiggle the feet from side to side. It's kind of this windshield wipering. Your forehead is resting on your own hands. Your eyes could even be closed. Waking up slowly. Take an exhale and release the feet. If you're moving, just press them on the mat. Take an inhale. Start to lift your chest. You'll bring your hands right under the shoulders and then press yourself up onto hands and knees. You can shimmy the knees under the hips, hands, wrists under your shoulders. Take an exhale. Slide or maybe walk the hands about 6 inches forward. Tuck your toes under, and on your next breath out, it's an exhale that lets your hips lift up and back. This is the first downward facing dog, so maybe bend the knees a lot. You could hover the knees. Take an inhale, lift up onto your tippy toes, and then let your right knee bend. Your left leg will relax. The heel doesn't have to touch the ground. Inhale as you lift up, and exhale, it's left knee bending. So even as you pedal the feet from side to side, you're finding that each motion, each little shape has a breath cycle. It goes with a breath. One more time in the pedaling, left and right. Building a little heat here in the back body. Take an inhale, lift up onto your tippy toes. Walk your feet or tippy toe your feet to the middle of your mat. Walk your hands or maybe slide them back to meet your feet. Take an inhale, lift up halfway. Your hands can always support the legs. And as you exhale, let the feet widen, maybe even mat distance. And fold, bend the knees a lot. Allow yourself to hang the head and neck fully releases. You can shake from side to side. Sway, backs of the hands resting on your mat. Find the slow, deep breathings as you have this first fold. All the things that we don't need in this moment just roll right off the shoulders, right off the arms, right up and over. If you like the ragdoll shape, you can always interlace the hands and interlace the fingers. Bring the hands right up to the back of the head. If you're going for this shape, you're just adding a little more pressure. You don't really have to pull. Gravity will do the thing. As you breathe out, let your hands come down onto the mat. Lift your chest. Hands can always support on the legs. Shimmy the feet so that they're right under the hips. Take an exhale and fold. Let your hands go down the legs, just down the calves. Inhale to lift halfway. You'll start to gaze forward. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Knees can always bend. These are any degrees that you love. One more time, we'll lift halfway. The belly will start to get a little warmth. Exhale, fold and release. Release your neck, release your head. Inhale to lift halfway. Next inhale, you can bend the knees, but we'll reach the arms out and up. Nice big circling up as we come to standing. Your palms might even press. And as you exhale, hands will come right down through the central channel. Pause at the heart space. You'll be in the middle of your mat. Eyes can be closed. A moment just to release the breath, noticing how we can calm ourselves after the moving and the heating, the warming up. As you breathe out, you can flicker the eyes open if they're closed. Let your hands come all the way down by your sides. You'll roll the shoulders back and down. This will open your chest. Let your lungs feel like they can really fill all the way with air. Inhale, you'll take that big circle out and up with the arms. You can even gaze towards the hands. Exhale, bend the knees always if you need. Start to fold right down through the center line. Inhale to lift halfway. Hands will rest on the shins if needed. Exhale, big fold. Let the neck relax. Inhale to lift halfway. Take an exhale as you bend your knees. You'll walk or maybe slide your hands to the top of the mat. You'll step your left foot and then your right foot back. Pause for a moment in your plank pose. I promise we won't do this very often. If you'd like to bring the knees down, it's no problem. Take one more big breath. Exhale, send your hips up and back. This is downward facing dog. Again, bending the knees is no problem. That might feel really releasing. But take a gaze at your own thighs. This will let the back of the neck stay long. We're kind of giving gravity some help. Releasing the shoulders. Notice the breathing. Can it be loud? Can it be the music, the background that you hear? Let that be one more big inhale. Now bring your big toes together on the exhale. This is just bringing the feet together for stability. If you don't usually yoga with me, take an inhale. Let the right leg sweep straight up and back. You'll keep the toes pointed down. Exhale, you'll send the knee all the way forward and foot right between the hands. As you start to move around, you can scoot your back foot flat or back. And as you exhale, start to straighten in your front right leg. Relax your forehead. Rebend your right knee. You're in a runner's lunge. One more time, you can straighten or any other free movement that you love. You're high on the ball of that back foot. Exhale, you're finding your runner's lunge. Next breath out, your back knee lowers down. There's that ha. Keep your toes curled under for this first cycle. Take an inhale. You'll start to gaze forward. This will help you. Take an inhale and sweep the arms up. Your gaze can follow the hands. For a little softer version, you can always bring the hands onto the thigh. This might give a little more support. Gaze will be just slightly lifted as we find this low lunge. Exhale, your hands will come all the way down to the mat. You'll straighten through the back leg, so lift the knee. Your right leg will slide back, just like that plank pose, so both feet on the mat. Take an exhale, find downward facing dog. Your hips are high. Again, heels never have to touch, it's just an idea. Bring the big toes together. Take an inhale, it's left leg slowly rises up and back. As you exhale, the knee coils in, you foot all the way forward and through it, between the hands. Start to straighten in your left leg, relax. Rebend your front knee. Straighten in that leg one more time. Rebend your left knee, find your runner's lunge. Exhale as your back knee lowers down. It's that ha. And as you breathe in, you're lifting the arms up as you gaze up. The chest slowly opens. So the arms could be wide here. Exhale, hands will lower down onto your mat. Curl your back toes under. Hands will plant down. Left foot will slide back. This is your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Always you can stay here if you need a little more heat. If you're with me, I'm bringing knees down, finding child's pose as the forehead starts to get a little closer to the mat. If you're in child's pose and you want to sweep the arms back, that can feel nice here, just resting. Let the breath get loud. 2 cycles. Inhale to start to gaze forward. You'll walk or slide the hands forward if you moved them back. Take an exhale, find that tabletop shape. Next breath in, you'll sweep the hands probably 6 inches or so forward, tuck the toes under, find your downward facing dog. Slowly, legs are feeling a little longer over time. Big toes come together. It's right leg rising up and back. Reach it up and back. Exhale, your right foot steps all the way between your hands. You might bump up onto fingertips. Start to straighten in that front knee, even if it's just a little. It doesn't have to be all the way straight. Exhale, rebend your front right knee. Back knee will lower down. You can tuck or untuck. So as we get a little warmer, the body will open of those back left toes. Take an inhale now, sweep the arms up. This is that low Anjaneya. Take an exhale, sweep your hands down to the mat. We'll add on here. Start to walk the hands back or slide them back as you straighten in your front leg. So you would like your left hip right above the knee. Your right foot is mostly straight. The knee is mostly straight. Take an inhale. See if you can lift your chest and bring your hands right under your shoulders. As you breathe out, there's this little fold. It doesn't have to look deep. You'll feel when it's deep. Take an inhale, start to lift halfway. Take an exhale, rebend your right knee. Suddenly, this shape feels really nice. You can bring your hands all the way onto the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift your knee. This right foot will slide back, your plank pose. So pause here. If you're adding some power shapes and you love them, then go for it. If you're with me, exhale is a downward facing dog. Hips go high, heels start to soften. Each downward facing dog, an opportunity to refine the breath. Bring the big toes together. This is for your stability. On an inhale cycle, it's this left leg that rises up and back. Toes stay facing down. An exhale cycle brings the foot all the way between the hands. You're in this lunge. You might be on fingertips. As you straighten your front left leg, you relax your forehead. As you rebend your left leg, your chest shines a little bit more forward. Exhale as you bring your back knee down. You can uncurl the toes if you have the space. Breathe in to sweep the arms up. Again, hands can always rest to the thighs, but soften, or that top left thigh, but soften in the shoulders. That's where we can soften. Soften in the jaw. Exhale, hands will lower down onto your mat. Start to shift into that straighter left leg. Hands under the shoulders. Check out how straight is your front leg. How is the alignment of the hip and knee on the right side? Let the exhale fold us just a little. Inhale to lift our chest. You'll gaze over the edge of your mat. Exhale, fold. Feel that depth here. In breath, lift your chest, shift into that bended front knee. The mini vacation. Hands will plant. Curl your back toes under as you lift your knee. Left foot will slide back. Feel the fire, right? That's the belly moving. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften in the jaw. Inhale to gaze to the hands. Take an exhale to bend your knees. If you love hopping, you can hop, or just take left foot and step it forward. Right foot will come to meet it. Feet will be a little bit wide here. Take an in breath to lift up halfway. See if you can lengthen in the spine forward. Take an exhale to fold. All the way down we go, softening. As you breathe in on this cycle, you'll sweep the arms out and up, gaze up. We'll add on here. Take an exhale, bend your knees a lot. Bring your hands down to the low back. You can do fingertips rising, or not. These are just choices that you can have. Take an inhale, lift your chest, and as you exhale, open your shoulders. We're in this supported back bend, so press the sacrum a little bit. If you're feeling like you can't breathe deeply, then back out just a little. Exhale, start to bring the hands all the way down the backs of the legs as you fold. It's this ha-like sensation, this melting. Shake the head from side to side. Inhale to lift halfway, lift your chest. Take an exhale, nice big fold. One more time, hands down the calf. Inhale, lift halfway here. Exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Step one foot back and then the other. This is high plank pose. Always, yes, you can add vinyasas if you love. If you're with me, we'll bring our knees down. This will be a little bit different than our child's pose. We'll walk the hands forward for what we call puppy pose, or really it's Anahata Asana. This is our heart melting pose. You can let the hips be right above the knees. This can help you. If you need to shimmy the seat back a little bit, you might feel the depth of the stretch more and more. So you kind of move around. If you ever feel stuck in this space, I know it happens sometimes, take an inhale and lift up a little. There's this coiling like we do in cat pose. And as you exhale, you'll let the chest go a little deeper. It's forehead towards the mat, even if it doesn't touch. Don't worry about it. Take an inhale, start to lift your chest, gaze to the hands. Exhale, bring left forearm down. Bring right forearm down. Exhale, press through left foot. Press through right foot. And lower your hips down. It's this this welcoming back bend. Your gaze is right over the edge of the mat. Close your eyes this cycle. Turn your head over your left shoulder. Eyes are closed. Chin rolls down around the chest and head over the right shoulder. One more time, chin down, roll around. Chin down and over to the right. Exhale as your chin comes to chest. Inhale to lift your chest. Open your eyes gently if you're going that way. Take an exhale. This time, let's bring your right ear to the mat and lower and bring your hands back behind you. I'll give a couple options here. If your shoulders aren't feeling open yet, then you'll stay with the first cycle. But if you're ready, then bring your chin down to the mat. Bring your hands into this interlacing back behind you. They can rest on your glutes for a moment. For this first cycle, legs will be about mat distance, or the feet will anyway. And you will keep your feet down on the mat. This will give us a little extra support. Take an exhale right here. Let all that old stale air out. It might even be audible, that ha. Take an inhale now. Lift your chest slowly. Sweep your arms, reaching that bind back behind you. You'll lift the arms off the booty. You'll press the toe tips into the mat. This will even let the kneecaps lift. It's pretty engaging here, right? Pretty energizing. One more big breath in. Exhale, release the bind. Let your hands just come beside you. And then turn opposite ear to the mat. It will be your left ear down. Notice how you feel in the shape for a full breath. When you're ready, I'll tell you first so you can relax for another 3 breaths or so. But when you're ready, you'll do that same thing that you've done before. Or if you want to add on, then we'll do something a little bit different with the legs. If you have some other deeper shape, then this would probably be the time to check it out. So as you take an exhale, you'll bring your chin to the mat. If you're going for that next variation, you'll zip the legs up. They'll work as though they're working with one force. They're pressing towards each other, chin still down. Bring your hands back behind you. Take an exhale when you have that bind. Take an inhale, lift your chest. Open or reach the arms back. And now if you're adding on, next breath in, lift the legs. So you're gazing right over the edge of the mat. This will be really kind to the neck. This is not a great place to look side to side. So gaze forward. You're pulling the shoulders open as you're reaching the arms back. You're lifting the feet. I promise I'm still with you. So both legs working as one leg. Exhale, release your forehead down. Bring your hands right under the shoulders. Find child's pose. Your low back will probably really love you for that. So walk the knees if you need, or walk the hands, whichever way you shimmy to find child's pose right in the middle of the mat, pressing yourself onto hands and knees. The forehead is softening. It's the releasing here. Letting the breath move slowly. You can stay in child's pose for a little longer if you love. Some of us might need a little bit of extra restore, a little extra relaxation. So I'll tell you when you really need to move. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You could stay there for the rest of the time. But if you would like to move on now, you'll take an inhale and lift your head. You'll gaze to the thumbs. You'll take an exhale and start to tuck the toes. You'll find downward facing dog. If you're in down dog, you'll give yourself 3 breaths to maybe wiggle. Move the head, move the legs. Take another 2 breath cycles to lift up on the thighs. You'll find more space than when we started. Friends in child's pose will begin to join us in the next breath or 2. Take an inhale as you bring your big toes together. Let's lift this right leg straight up and back. Keep your toes down if you can. Take an exhale. You're sending the foot forward all the way through the hands. You might bump up onto fingertips. Straighten that front right knee. Your forehead softens. Inhale, rebend. Find this runner's lunge. Let's lower the back knee down. Uncurl the toes if you choose. Take an inhale to sweep the arms up. Your gaze will be forward. Begin to open the arms. It's this cactus shape or this goalpost shape. This is really shining the chest if that feels good. So this is an add-on only if you want it. Inhale, let the arms reach up. Your gaze will stay lifted. Exhale, hands will come down to the mat. Start to straighten in that front right leg. Hands under shoulders will be easier. Press your foot forward if that helps. Take an exhale as you start to fold. It's releasing the forehead. It doesn't ever have to touch anything. Take an inhale to lift halfway. Take an exhale to rebend your front knee. Hands will come down. You'll curl those back left toes and lift your knee. Plant your hands down. You'll send your right foot high. We'll add on one more time. So send the right foot all the way high. Now, if you'd like it, you can bend your right knee. This will open the hip a little bit. I might show you from this way. But watch the shoulder. See if the shoulder can still keep about equal weight. This is not an easy shape, even if it looks really easy. Take one big breath with this open hip. And exhale, send your foot all the way through. It's the same side. It's that right side. Walk your foot to the outer edge of the mat. And now bring your right shoulder to the inside of your foot. So we're resting on our hands. For some more fire, if you love that route, you could keep your left knee lifted. If you're with me and you're thinking, no, thank you, then lower your left knee. Uncurl the toes here. This will usually feel a little better. Drop your head. Soften in the neck. This is a pretty deep lunging shape, so give yourself some time. Take an inhale to lift your chest. You'll curl your back toes under and lift your knee. As you gaze forward on an in-breath, you might bump up on the fingertips. If you're with me, I need a little more space. But take an exhale and step this left foot around the hand. It's like this big sumo step almost. As you breathe out, the toes will turn out and you'll sit the seat down. So the heels are in, toes are out. You're in this malasana, this yogi squatting at the front of your mat. For friends that are not very low to the ground and this is really challenging, this would be a good place to sit on a book or something if you're feeling like, whew, when is this gonna be over? So take another big full breath. This is bringing our entire digestive system in one long line here. Exhale, if your eyes are closed, open them now. Bring your hands down to the front of your mat. Lift your hips up. Bring your hands to the shins and shimmy the feet under the hips. Take an exhale to fold. Again, hands can always go down the backs of the legs. Take an inhale to come all the way up. Big circling of the upper of the arms out and up. From here, bend the knees a lot. Hands come down to your low back. As you inhale, feel the support. You'll lift into this back bend. It should feel nice. We don't want it to feel like we can't breathe deeply. And exhale, big fold. Hands down the backs of your legs. That massage. Inhale to lift halfway here. Exhale to let hands come all the way down. Bend your knees. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. This is high plank. You feel the lift in the belly, the lift on the kneecaps. Add on anything you love or find downward facing dog. It's an exhalation. Bring the big toes together. This is our last side. How are we showing up in this moment? Just feeling the breath. Maybe being a little softer on ourselves than usual. Lift your left leg. It goes up and back. Exhale, step forward, right between the hands. You might bump up onto the fingertips. Start to straighten your front leg. Soften the neck. Inhale to lift halfway. Take an exhale. Rebend your front knee. Let your back right knee lower. Uncurl the toes if you're going that depth and reach the arms up. Exhale, opening for that goalpost, that nice big cactus shape. Take an inhale to sweep your arms up, reaching. Exhale, releasing your hands down. As the hands come back, you shift into a straighter left leg. So as you inhale, you'll lift your chest a little bit. Hands can be under shoulders. And as you exhale, it's that folding. It's that depth of the releasing of your back body. Inhale to lift your chest. Exhale to rebend your front knee. Hands will come down. As you curl the back right toes, you'll lift the right knee. This left leg will sweep up and back. It's that three-legged dog. Now bend and open the hip. Notice that the shoulder always wants to lift. Put some weight into the shoulder. The hip is probably saying, ha, or some variation of that. One more big full breath. Exhale, send the knee forward. Bring the foot all the way through the hand. So we're on that same side. Bumping up on the fingertips. Left foot over to the left edge of the mat and bring your hand to the inside. Unless you're feeling the really fiery feeling of that back leg lifted, lower it down. Release your back knee, uncurl your back toes. We have the hands to the inside of the foot. We're relaxing in the neck. This is a pretty deep lunge here. This is that lizard shape. This is opening the left hip slowly. Take an inhale, lift your chest. Exhale as you curl your toes, you're lifting the knee. It's that same sensation on this side. So bump up onto the fingertips. Inhale to lift your right leg, lift it forward. As you exhale, it's Malasana. It's that yogi squatting at the top of your mat. You can close your eyes here if you're feeling okay with not being too wobbly. If you are feeling wobbly, keep them open. But you're just gazing over the edge of the mat. You're gazing off the inner distance if the eyes are closed, right? How does this feel inside? I promise I'll stay in it with you. Take an exhale as your hands come down. Your hips will lift up high. Lift the hips. Turn the toes forward. There might be some shimmying the feet under the hips. We'll take an inhale to lift halfway, hands maybe to shins. This will be a little deeper folding. As you exhale, hands go all the way down the backs of the legs, maybe around the ankles, and give yourself a little tug. If you can bend the elbows, it'll make you go deeper. The elbows don't want to do that, then you're already probably pretty deep. So wherever you are, notice if you can gaze behind you. This will keep you from that feeling like you're rolling over. And as you breathe out, see, can I pull my belly even closer to the thighs? This is lengthening in the back body here. One more nice big full breath in this fold. Inhale to release that bind of the hands. Lift halfway. Hands can come to shins. Take an exhale all the way down we go. Big fold. Breathe in, circle the arms out and up. We're coming all the way up to standing. This is that last nice open back bending from standing. So bend the knees, hands down to the low back for support. Lift your chest. If there's some other back bend that you do that you love, you could do anything here. But for me, it's really just about feeling the deep breath. So it doesn't have to be this really crazy thing. Just feel the deep breath. Exhale, you're softening into a fold, hands all the way down the backs of the legs. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to plant your hands down onto the mat. Let's step our left foot back this cycle. You may do some shimmying with the hands if you need. Crawl the hands to the inside of your right foot. Crawl your right foot to the outside edge of the mat. We've done this before. Bring your left knee down, and now we'll add on if you want it. So uncurl the toes, that'll make it a little easier. If you have a lot of space and you can do the coming onto forearms thing, if that's your jam, go for it. If not, you're on fingertips. This just helps me keep breathing deeply. If you want to add on, so all these shapes are going to be challenging to stay still and keep breathing. But if you're adding on, you can turn the toes out to the corner of the mat on the right side. Turn onto the pinky toe side, that edge of the foot, and plant your left hand down. This will be being kind to the wrist right under the shoulder. Your right hand will press on your right leg. You will be looking away from me. You'll just be gazing up to the ceiling. And if your neck doesn't love that, you'll gaze down towards your left hand. Opening a little deeper with every breath. It's not so much the look as it is the feel of depth. Take an exhale to release your hands down. You're coming back around. You'll lift your back knee. You're curling the toes. From here, crawl around to the long side of the mat. You'll turn your right toes with you. You'll bring your big toes where they're pigeoned just a little bit towards each other. Take an inhale to lift halfway. Hands can be under the shoulders. As you exhale, we want one nice long forward fold. So neck relaxes. Some of our very flexy friends, yes, they may be able to bring crown of the head down, but if you're with me, the gravity is doing the work. The crown of the head, it doesn't matter what it's touching. We're just softening the spaces in the neck, in the cervical spine. Inhale to lift halfway. You'll gaze right over that long edge of the mat. Take an exhale to crawl around to the front. You have your right foot forward. Hands will come down to the mat. Let them plant here. Walk or slide this right foot back. Last time, you're in high plank pose. Take an exhale. Lift the hips high here. Hips go up and back. Big toes will come together. It will be left side that lifts up and back, but this time it's a little different entryway. So look forward and step your foot to the outside of the hand. If you need to shimmy your back heel, you can always make it a little bit longer. Move how you need. Lower your back knee down slowly. You're on the hands or you're on the forearms. This is your choice. Uncurl the back toes for space. Turn your left toes to the corner of your mat. There's this 45 almost degree angle as you roll onto the pinky toe side edge. Your hand will rest onto the thigh. So your right hand will be planted, or if you're very flexy, yes, you could be on the forearm. If you're with me and thinking, not today, then gaze up and back for a little more depth. Gaze down to the right hand for a little more grounding, releasing. Take an exhale as you release the hand down. Come back onto the foot of your left foot and tuck your back toes, lifting the knee. You'll slide your left foot back, high plank pose. Lower knees down. Lower the chest and chin as you slide, or you might crawl. Walk the hands forward. This is your puppy pose, that Anahata Asana, the heart melting pose. If this is not your jam, you can have child's pose or downward dog. You're probably hanging out alone or hanging out with people that you really love. So let your breaths be audible for 2 full breaths. It will be a big inhale through the nose and a sigh through the mouth. Big inhale through the nose and exhale. It's that through the mouth. Inhale, lift up onto the hands and knees. You'll put let's go right forearm down. You'll put the left forearm down. Let's press through the right foot. Press through the left foot. This is the last time in this shape. Lower your hips down. As the toes uncurl, you close the eyes. Head over to the left. Chin rolls down as your head sweeps over to the right. Chin rolls down one more time to the left. Last cycle to the right. Chin down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, again, arms are a pillow and you rest your forehead, or palms pressed together above the crown of your head. If you yoga with me, you're just lying on your belly. But if you yoga with me often, you know that pranam is really my favorite shape. So take another 2 full breaths lying. Check it out our time. Awesome. Take another 3 moments here. Inhale as you start to slide the hands under the shoulders. Take an exhale to lift your chest, hands and knees. You'll ride your breath wave into downward facing dog as you uncurl the toes. You can walk it out a little from side to side. Inhale to gaze forward towards your hands. Exhale to bend the knees. If you love the hops, you could hop here, or you're stepping the feet forward. Take an inhale to lift halfway. As you breathe out, big fold, big release of the head. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. Arms will circle out and up. Exhale to bring your hands right down through the midline. Take another breath out. Turn to the long side of your mat. You can stay as you are, just so you can see where you're going. Bring your hands down to your hips. Start to put the weight in the right foot. Start to bump up onto the left toes. You could even go ahead and start to lift the leg, but very slowly you'll lift the leg, bending the knee. The left hand can sweep down to the knee. This almost helps you lean back a little bit, softening in the shoulders. As you breathe out, you'll open, only if you want more, right? Any layer is perfect. But you'll start to open this left knee to the left. Keep your hand on the knee. You're flexing in the foot a little bit here. And if you even want more than that, you'll open the right arm to the right. Some of you will even start to look over that right shoulder. This will make you pretty wobbly here. So if you're challenging the balance and falling all over the place, then don't worry about it. Take one more breath. Exhale, bring your hand back to your hip on the right. Bring your hand down to the ankle on the left. Bring your foot right into the thigh here, this right thigh to left ankle connection, or left foot connection. Then release the ankle and you can bring your hands to your heart. If you love tree pose, moving all around everywhere, then you can always grow your branches. You can always sway from side to side. If you need the chest opening, like I'm always feeling these days, you can roll the shoulders back and reach the hands behind you. You can clasp a bind and take this tree with the chest forward. So anything that you love, the gaze is slightly down. This is what helps us when we're really wobbly. If you have the arms bound, go ahead, release one big circle out and up if you're going there. Hands right back to the center line. Turn your left knee forward. Keep your foot lifted. I know you're like, what the heck? Exhale, foot lowers down. Bring your hands to your hips and move from side to side. 1 or 2 times. Even the figure 8-like motions, that infinity with the hips, the hip muscles and the hip joints really love that. It's really the joints that like the circular shapes. Start to slow down. You can shake one foot and then shake the other. Bring your feet pretty under the hips. Start to press into your left leg. You'll bump up onto the toes on the right side, and as you're ready, you'll start to lift into the foot, bending the knee. Bring your right hand down to the knee and lean back just a little. Soften the shoulders just a little. You can stay here. If you're adding a layer, you'll start to open the knee out to the side. See if you can keep your foot flexed a little. See if you can keep your hips in line. I know that's not the easy part. Start to reach your left arm out to the left if you're adding a layer. If you want to challenge yourself, maybe get a little wobbly here, then you'll start to gaze over that left shoulder. Keep breathing. This is where the breath starts to get loud in your own ears. Exhale, turn your head forward. Hand to hip on the left, hand to ankle on the right. You'll bring the foot right into that upper thigh. Both hands on both hips can be a little more stable. Hands in your heart center can be grounding. We don't have to do the same thing on both sides, but we can always see if we want to or see if we like it by bringing the hands behind you, reaching for the bind if you're going there, taking that big open tree if you love. Start to open the arms. We'll go out and up if you took the bind. Hands come down to the hips. Turn your knee forward. I know it's like going, oh, I'm on fire. Exhale, foot down. Shake out the left. Shake out the right. Again, you can move the hips always this way. Always the wiggle. There's no right or wrong way for this at all. And let's take a big inhale. Let's reach the arms out and up as we find some stillness. Toes will turn out, heels in, hands down through the heart center. And this is the last time we come right into a Malasana. If you have to shimmy the feet, do it. Let it feel good. So shimmy the feet, move a little from side to side. And you're in this Malasana, Mala shape. If you are very high, your hips are really lifted, then you can bring your hands behind your back. For most of you who are feeling really flexy, your seat is super close to the ground, so you don't even need the hands. Just lower your seat down. Legs forward, hands behind you, and rock the knees from side to side. We made it, y'all. We made it to our seat. So you can turn the legs to one long side of your mat, whichever that you like your feet at, and just shimmy the hips one more time. We'll take one shape, a reverse tabletop or Purvatasana if you have that shape, that mountain pose. So let your fingertips face your seat, face your glutes. Bring your feet about hip distance, and there's a bend in your knees. It's like a reverse table. Take an in breath and lift your hips up. When you get there, lift your chest a little higher and gaze right to the ceiling. Keep your neck super supported here. This for me is all in the shoulders, all in the upper arms. So press into the thighs. Just one more breath longer. I promise I won't cheat. If you do, I won't know, so it's okay. But we're lifting and lowering. Hips down. Nice work. Just give a hug around the legs. You can interlace the fingers and just relax the neck for a moment. We'll take one seated shape together. So if you love something different, then you can always go for legs long straight together or legs long maybe separated. But if you're doing what I'm doing, then we'll bring the feet together. We'll let the soles of the feet be pressing together, but the toes will open up a little bit, kind of like a book here. Your hands will come to the ankles. And as you inhale, let's lift the chest. So you'll lift your chest forward. And as you exhale, you'll start to fold. You'll start to press the forearms down into the thighs a little more and just gaze over the edge of your mat. This will keep the back really long. You want a long spine. It doesn't matter how far down low we go. The essence of our yoga, the moment, the now, is how does this feel? One more nice big breath in. Exhale, fold just a little deeper. It doesn't even have to look deeper, just feel it. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, release that bind. Bring your knees back together with the hands. And just one more time, hands behind you. Find that shimmying from side to side. You could also do the toe tapping. Sometimes that feels really nice, bringing some blood flow back down to the bottom half. Unless you are really interested in some extra belly work, if you are, then I'll tell you what it is. But if you're not, then you'll bring the hands behind the thighs and just roll on down to the back. If you're like, okay, I'll see your belly work, then you can press the feet into the mat. You can reach the hands forward, and we'll take a little bit longer to get down. So if you're already on your back, then you're just rolling around. You're enjoying yourself. You might be hugging the knees in. If you're with me and wondering how long we're going to be doing this, then the belly's probably shaking. Let the shoulder blades stay lifted. Exhale, release it down. Now we'll all hug the knees in. Lift your feet into the air. Lift your arms into the air and give that shake. Just give that jigalasana that we love to release all of the joints. Hug the knees into the chest one more time. Open your right arm out to the right. Drop your knees over to the left. And if you need, you might have to shimmy your low back a little bit to the middle of the mat. Dropping your knees off over to this side. If you're turning the head opposite the knees, this is going to intensify this stretch. Releasing whatever the body is saying by breathing into the sensation. We want this to feel nice, to feel good. You're taking one more breath on this side, full in and out. Inhale, use your belly just enough to lift your legs. So right through center, both arms could open out wide and rock the knees from side to side. When you're ready, it's knees off over to the right, this left arm opening, and that right arm or hand can rest on the top knee. If you need to shimmy your hips underneath you a little bit more, you can do that to help. You'll take at least 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, gently hug your knees back into your chest. You'll rock a little from side to side. This is where I offer you to go on your own cycle a little bit, to do your own thing for a few breaths. So if you love inversions, these can be really immune system boosting. You can lift your legs right into the air. You can flip your palms up, little bend in the knees. We don't want too much pressure happening. And this can feel amazing. If you do shoulder stands, you love it, you do it all the time, then shoulder stand. Or maybe you're back bending. Maybe you have a lot of stuff to do today if you're lifting the hips for a bridge pose or whatever's going on. I want you to have 1 full minute to move your body around how you love, even if it is just rolling from side to side or making little circles. This is the time to feel the breath. If you can close your eyes, if you feel comfortable enough in your space, this will let you feel that inner vision even more. You've got another 8 breaths or so. So legs are lifted, or that rolling around on the ground, the inversions, anything that you love. I'll even give you a little bit of quiet for your last few breaths here. This is all whatever shapes that you need. And on that final cycle of breath, hug your knees into the chest one more time. So you'll make this tiny little ball where everything lifts, maybe even neck and head lift. And as you exhale, let the feet come down long, let the arms open out wide. This is Shavasana. This is your space to lie down. You'll let the shoulders soften. You'll let the eyes close. Even if it's just for a couple of breaths. Notice from the tippy toes. Can I soften? Can I let something touch the mat that wasn't before? Knees release, hips resting. Even the belly where we hold all the time can release tension here. Shoulders are soft. You might even feel the places where the fabric on your clothes move when you breathe. This is the here and now. You might even recognize the temperature of the things around you. This is the here and now. Soften the jaw, the facial muscles. As the eyes are closed, we'll gaze inward towards the third eye, so the space between the brows with eyes closed. You only do this for a couple of breaths or so. Don't worry, as attention moves all around. This is what we pay it for. It's all good. But breathe into the space right between the brows, that ha of yoga. And as you exhale, start to move around a little. You can wiggle the fingers and toes. You could turn your head from side to side. Sometimes that feels really nice. When you're ready, reach the arms up overhead. Take that big stretch. We're waking up really slow. If you want, you can even interlace the hands, maybe pressing the heels of the hands to the front of the room. And exhale, roll over onto your favorite side. Roll yourself up to a seat. You might have to do a little shuffle if you're facing the back of your room or whatever. But when you find your seat, tuck your chin just a little. This helps the back of our neck stay nice and long. If you have a lot of time after this, you might just hang up the call and chill for a little longer, either seated or lying down. A lot of that inner sensation, that subtle body stuff, starts to settle in after we've moved. But whether you have some time or you have to move along, you have things that you're doing after this, I would like us to do one round of Om together. I think everyone is on mute, so I won't hear you. It doesn't matter. It just feels really good. So take your inhale, bring your hands right to the heart, and take an exhale here. Just let the breath all the way out. Take an inhale now, reach your arms. I'll tell you before we Om, but take an inhale now, reach your arms, start to open them up, and you can flicker your eyes open if you need. It's like we have this smile of the arms happening, right? You're really opening, broadening. Now we're ready for that Om. Receive the breath. It's an inhale. Maybe smile, maybe not. Hands to the third eye, right in between the brows. I am beyond grateful. I am super honored and just really ecstatic. It's been a very strange time. And so to be able to meet in this way is awesome. And so I'm really happy, and I'm just really